Welcome to How You Livin', a transformative podcast featuring best-selling author, inspirational speaker, and minister, Dr. Rick Rigsby. And now, Dr. Rick.
Hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to continue discussing a topic recently introduced, the topic quality. While quality never goes out of style, it certainly has been challenged this generation. Seemingly, quality is compromised for the sake of greater profits or faster production, even for status and standing, for looks and appearance. However, for individuals and companies willing to pay the price for quality, they become major influencers whose ideas and products and lives impact people and transform organizations. Quality is defined as an attribute or characteristic possessed by someone or something that exceeds standards and expectations. When I think of this definition, one group of people come to mind, the greatest generation. You remember those folks who served during World Wars I and II and the Korean War, those folks who rebuilt the infrastructure of a post-war America, whose hard work and ingenuity pulled us from the horse and buggy to industrial and technological supremacy. There was a time in America when quality really meant something. I really don't believe quality has gone away as much as it's been compromised. We'll solve problems if we can do it in a timely manner. We'll make superior products as long as it doesn't cut deeply into our profit margin. We'll develop a collegial atmosphere as long as it doesn't waste too much time. I want you to think about how different those messages are compared to the messages we heard as children. Messages like, how you do anything is how you do everything. It's never wrong to do the right thing. If you're going to do a job, do it to the best of your ability. How many of you remember this message? Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. Here's one of my favorites. It's from former Major League Baseball star Ozzie Smith, who said on one occasion, good enough isn't good enough if it can be better, and better isn't good enough if it can be best. I'm talking quality. University of Alabama head football coach Nick Saban once said, it's not about what you want, it's about what you're willing to do to get it. Is there still room for quality today? Are we willing to do what it takes to get it? The answer to the first part is yes, there is still room, more so than ever. The question is, are we willing to pay the price to get that kind of quality, to be that kind of quality person? I strongly believe that one of the ways quality has been compromised is our desire to make sure that we appear and do everything in a perfect way. It's not possible. While perfection ought to be the standard, we've got to remember that it's often failure that produces the greatest advancements. I love this quote from basketball legend Michael Jordan. Listen to this. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed, end quote. You see, our culture doesn't tend to make allowances for failure, and you simply cannot learn without failing, and quality does not increase without learning. You see, back in my day, the goal wasn't to be perfect. The goal was to keep improving every single day. Basketball coach John Wooden once said, failure is not fatal as long as you learn from it. Speaking of the former UCLA basketball coach, listen to this quote. Things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out. John Wooden was a quality man, and so was my dad. My dad was the wisest man I ever met in my life, yet he only made it to the 3rd grade. He was also a member of that greatest generation. He lived quality, and he expected his children to follow his example. He reminded us daily that quality comes with a price. Whether Dad was painting the house or repairing the fence or coaching Little League Baseball, If you didn't do things the right way, he would say, then what's the purpose of doing them at all? Quality wasn't just reflected in what my dad did. Quality was who my dad was. And my dad influenced organizations, and he impacted lives. He told the truth. He thought the best of people. He did what he said he was going to do. He kept his word. My father was practical, resourceful, dependable, and respectful. And for those who think that living a quality life is based on some external variable, I want you to consider the following. Quality is not based on who you know. These days, we think who we know is so important, so vital, so critical to our success. I want you to listen to this. My father was hardly known outside his family and his work peers. Yet today, he's quoted on every continent in the world. Also, quality is not defined based on our status or our position. My dad was a cook, a simple cook at a college, but everything he did reflected the highest degree of excellence. I can remember my father paraphrasing the late Martin Luther King Jr. It was Martin King who said on one occasion, "All labor has value. If you're a street sweeper, sweep streets the way Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets the way Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets in such a profound way that the host of heaven would open up and say, 'There goes a great street sweeper.' Everything you do, boys," I can hear my father saying, "ought be done with the highest degree of excellence." Quality is not based on title. Quality is based on influence. John Maxwell said true leadership is influence. Without influence, your title is useless. Also, quality is not based on possessions. My dad taught me a long time ago that what I possess ought to have less to do with impressing others and more to do with getting the best value for my dollar. That was a very important lesson. We grew up poor. We didn't have a lot of extravagant things, but what we did have was quality. My father had a saying that to this day I repeat regularly. He would say, "Son, if you buy something cheap, you buy it twice." Let me say that again. If you buy something cheap, you buy it twice. You know, my dad only had a few suits. He only had a few pair of shoes. I only saw him with one dress watch his entire life. But it was the best that he could afford, and it served the purpose that he wanted. Son, if you buy something cheap, you buy it twice. I can't tell you how often I think about that as I'm choosing which shoes to purchase or which tires to buy. Let me give you one last comment about quality, and it's my favorite. Quality is not defined by educational level. My dad was the wisest man I have ever met in my life, yet he was a third-grade dropout. Friends, there is a big difference between knowledge and wisdom. We need them both, but the quality person places a higher premium on wisdom. You see, there's a strong correlation between quality and wisdom. Listen to this. In his January 2022 blog titled, "Why Wisdom is Far More Valuable Than Intelligence," Campbell Markham offers this food for thought. Quote, "While intelligent people are the new rock stars, wisdom is far more valuable than intelligence." Wisdom is far more valuable than intelligence. Markham points out that there is no necessary correlation between intelligence and morality, or intelligence and wise conduct. Markham states you can be a fool with a very high IQ. Friends, as a pastor, I find the following tidbit of information to be very interesting. In the Bible, the word intelligent appears 9 times. The word clever appears twice. The words smart, intellectual, bright, and brainy don't appear at all. But the words discern and discerning appear 34 times. The word understanding appears 115 times, and the words wise and wisdom appear 455 times. Discerning, understanding, and wisdom all are properties of a person possessing distinct attributes, someone who exceeds all standards and all expectations, someone who accomplishes tasks with the utmost degree of excellence, someone who makes organizations better, someone who impacts people and influences them to do good. My friend, this is the definition of a quality person, the type of person we should all aspire to become. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Until we meet again, this is Dr. Rick, asking the most important question I can ask. How you living?
Are you ready to make an impact in your world right now? Do you want to stop existing and start living your best life right now? Dr. Rick wants to give you the first chapter of his best-selling book, Lessons from a Third Grade Dropout, absolutely free. Just go to www.rickrigsby.com/free gift to get the print or audiobook right now.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.